Okay, so I want to talk about something specific today. It's that moment, right after the joy. You know the one. The party's over, the guests leave. Or maybe you've finished this huge, amazing project at work. Or maybe it's just after a really wonderful night connecting with people you love. Everything felt, I don't know, peak, vibrant. And then silence. The music's gone, the laughter fades, and there's this quietness that rushes in. And it's not despair, not really, but it's like this soft ache, a kind of gentle heaviness maybe in the chest. For years, I felt that dip, and my first thought was always, okay, what did I do wrong? Like, I should still be happy.
Yeah.
Why this sudden weight? It felt like a failure.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling is so common. And it's really important, I think, to see it not as like a glitch in your system. It's actually a message. You've really hit on something crucial there, this cultural obsession we have. We're sort of taught to chase happiness like it's this permanent state we can achieve and lock down. So when that quiet, maybe melancholic feeling shows up, which it inevitably does, we immediately think something's broken, or that we messed up, that we didn't hold on tight enough to the good feeling. But the truth is, you can't really grasp happiness fully without understanding why it passes. So today we're going to explore that quiet ache, look at the difference between just natural sadness and the suffering we often layer on top, and why that dip, that quiet space, might actually be one of the most honest places you can be.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this then. Because if joy feels so good, so right, why is it built to disappear? Why can't we just, I don't know, hack it, keep it going?
That's a huge question, really. It's asking about the fundamental nature of things, and many wisdom traditions, especially, say, Buddhist thought, have a concept for this. It's simple but profound, in particular. It basically means that everything that arises, a feeling, a thought, a relationship, even that amazing peak experience, is subject to change. It arises, it stays for a bit, and then it passes away. It's not a punishment, not a flaw. It's just how reality works.
So feeling sad after the high isn't a sign I'm broken. It's actually proof I'm plugged into how life actually operates.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Joy is often most pure, most radiant when we're just in it. But notice what happens almost instantly. The mind kicks in.
Oh, yeah.
It starts saying things like, oh, I need to keep this feeling, or how can I make this happen again tomorrow? That urge to grasp, to possess the feeling, that's what makes it fragile, because you're essentially trying to fight the natural flow. You're resisting impermanence.
I see that everywhere. It's like modern life is built on that resistance, turning everything into a highlight reel for social media, planning the next big thing before the current one is even over. We're not just letting the joy be, we're trying to freeze it, make a monument out of it, and then when it naturally fades, we feel like we failed, personally.
Right, and that completely undermines our ability to just appreciate things as they are in the moment. Think about a lotus flower on a pond. It blooms, it's beautiful, vibrant, but by evening, the petals close. Does that mean the flower failed? Of course not. Its beauty is actually inseparable from the fact that it's temporary. We're often moved by the joy precisely because deep down we know it won't last forever. So that quiet sadness that follows, it's not betraying the joy. It's acknowledging how real, how deep it was. It's almost like an act of reverence. Your heart is sort of bowing to something beautiful that passed through.
Wow, okay. That really shifts the perspective. But, okay, if the sadness is natural, just reverence, why does it sometimes turn into something else? Like, not just quiet sadness, but this heavy, almost crushing feeling, longing, regret, maybe thinking, I should have enjoyed it more. Where does it tip over from reverence into actual suffering?
That tipping point. That's exactly where we need to look carefully. Because the difference isn't in the initial feeling itself. It's in the story the mind wraps around that feeling.
The story. Okay, and I guess that brings in the ego, doesn't it? Because when the high fades, that's often when the self-critical voice gets loudest for me. The ego jumps in to fight it.
Precisely. And let's be clear. The ego isn't some kind of villain we need to destroy. It's more like a survival program. Its job is to create a sense of stability, of permanence. It loves stories like, okay, now I'm finally happy, or my life is solid now.
Right.
So when that peak experience dissolves, the ego's story gets a crack in it. The sadness comes in, and the ego's immediate reaction is, no, this shouldn't be happening. Resistance. And that resistance, that's the definition of suffering in many traditions, dukkha. It's not the pain of the feeling passing, it's the fighting against what is. When the mind says, this was mine, it shouldn't have ended, or I have to get that feeling back, that's where the suffering really takes root. It's the clinging, not the feeling itself.
Can you make that clinging more concrete, like an example? Because sometimes it feels really hard to tell the difference between sadness and the suffering that comes from clinging.
Sure. Think about holding a warm cup of tea. The warmth is lovely, right? Pleasant sensation. But imagine you start gripping that cup really tightly. You're terrified the warmth will fade, so you clutch it, desperately trying to hold on to the heat. What
You
happens?
burn yourself.
Exactly. The pain doesn't come from the tea naturally cooling down. It comes from your desperate clutching, your resistance to the natural process. The moment you try to force permanence onto something that is inherently impermanent, like a feeling, you basically guarantee some form of pain.
Okay, that makes sense. That explains why sometimes remembering a really perfect moment can actually feel painful. It's not just the memory, it's remembering the wanting it to last forever, the grasping.
That's it, exactly. And this clinging, this aversion to the down feelings is reinforced everywhere, isn't it?
Totally.
Society tells us, move on, stay positive, don't dwell. So we're constantly pushing away that quiet ache. And in doing that, we miss the chance to actually integrate the whole experience, to see the wholeness. We mistake the natural descent for failure.
It reminds me of that story about the young monk after a big festival. He felt empty when it was quiet again and thought he'd somehow lost the joy.
Yes, that's a classic teaching.
Yeah.
And the wise teacher gently points out, joy isn't the enemy of stillness. Clinging is. The monk thought joy was something he could, put in his pocket and keep. But joy, like all experiences, is more like a river. You can enjoy being in it, but you can't bottle the water.
Okay, so if the suffering comes from the clinging, the resistance, how do we actually stop doing that? How do we practice not resisting? If I just allow the sadness, how do I stop it from becoming that overwhelming storm we talked about?
Right, and this is where awareness or mindfulness comes in. It acts almost like a translator. Mindfulness often gets misunderstood, I think. People see it as a tool to just, get calm or make bad feelings go away.
Yeah, that's how I've often thought about it.
But it's actually much simpler and maybe more profound. It's really about creating space, a container, a space to just hold whatever emotion is present without judgment. So when that quiet ache arrives after the joy, awareness lets you sit with it, almost like welcoming a visitor who's traveled a long way to tell you something. You just notice the feeling. Maybe it's that heaviness in the chest or just a sense of stillness without immediately slapping a label on it like bad or trying to figure out why it's there or how to fix it. You're just acknowledging, you're here.
That feels so opposite to what we normally do, though. Our instinct is usually distract, quick, grab the phone, put on music, call someone. Anything to avoid just sitting with the feeling. So, okay, let's make it really practical. That moment hits, I'm in the quiet kitchen, the party's over, the joy has peaked, and now there's this dip. What's the one thing I can actually do?
The simplest and often most powerful thing, just pause. Really, just stop. Don't analyze, don't judge, don't distract. Take a breath, maybe gently place a hand on your heart, your belly, and silently just offer this to yourself. It's okay to feel this, or you're allowed to feel this.
Yeah.
That simple act does something really important. It honors the depth of what you experienced. It says you cared enough about the joy to feel its echo. You're not buying into the ego story of something's wrong. You're acknowledging your heart's capacity to feel fully.
Okay, just allowing it. You're allowed to feel this.
Right.
And what happens then? When we actually give it permission, does it just stay forever?
That's where the transformation happens. It's like alchemy, really. When you stop fighting the feeling, stop resisting the current, the feeling changes its nature. Resistance makes emotions feel solid, hard, like ice. Acceptance allows them to melt. They become fluid again, like water. They can move through you. They don't necessarily vanish instantly, but they lose their sharp, controlling edge because they're allowed to be transient, which is their true nature. Think of it like a bell. Joy is the strike, the clear, ringing sound. The quiet sadness that follows is the echo, the reverberation, and awareness. That's the silence that holds both the sound and the echo. That echo, that sadness, is like the fingerprint of authenticity. It proves the bell was struck, that the joy was real and it touched you deeply. If it hadn't mattered, there'd be no echo.
Wow. Okay. The fingerprint of authenticity, that completely reframes that post-joy dip for me. So we're shifting from seeing sadness as like proof of failure to seeing it as a doorway, a signpost pointing towards what actually mattered.
Exactly, you've got it. All emotions are messengers. None of them are inherently bad or threats. Joy shows us what nourishes us, what we value. And sadness points to what we loved, what we were truly present for, enough for its passing to register. So the real path isn't about trying to change the feeling itself, getting rid of sadness, holding on to joy forever. It's about changing our relationship to the feeling. And maybe the deepest freedom comes when we lean into that sadness, not pushing it away, and realize something profound. We realize we aren't just this separate self desperately trying to hoard happiness. We are the awareness itself, the space in which both the joy and the sadness appear, move for a while, and then disappear. that awareness, that silent presence. It's already free. It was never touched by the feeling coming or going. It's just here, unmoved, unbroken.
So, if that's the ultimate potential here, what's the key takeaway? What's the most important thing for us to carry forward from this deep dive?
I think it means that the next time that familiar quietness follows a moment of joy, your instruction isn't fix this or get rid of this. It's simply lean in.
Right.
Let it be there. Let it wash over you gently. And instead of asking that exhausting question, why is this happening to me? Maybe try asking, gently, curiously, what is this showing me?
That shift, asking, what is this showing me, instead of why me? That feels like the real ground of wisdom, doesn't it? A way of being where every feeling, even the soft ache when joy passes, is seen as vital, as part of being fully, completely alive.
Absolutely. And maybe here's a final thought, provocation for you to carry to those quiet moments. The next time you experience that whole cycle, the peak, the joy, and then the quiet after, ask yourself this: was it the joy itself that truly woke you up? Or was it the stillness that followed it? Or perhaps, was it the silent space between them, that vast awareness where everything arises and everything returns? The answer, as always, is probably waiting right there in your very next breath.